Welcome, everybody. You are watching, perhaps listening, Hot Sauce Sports. Pease looks like he's frozen.
He is frozen. He's actually not on.
I actually think he dropped right at the beginning,
cool. He
which
dropped
makes
right
it
after we
so
started.
much funnier because he probably tried to be like, "How do I see what it is?" And then it crashed his computer.
Look at that. He looks like it looks like a LinkedIn profile picture from someone taking a selfie.
No. What it looks like is as if like he was watching porn, he was jerking off, and then his wife walked in, and he's quickly trying to close the screen. That's what it looks like.
That does sound about right to me.
See, nailed it. Well, anyway, this is Hot Sauce. This is Not Sauce for Work. I am Terry Tam, and I have my beautiful colleague next to me, the graphicists, Duke. How's it going, buddy?
What's up, boys? We're glad to be back. It's been a long time.
For sure. And we have Eagle at Master Control as usual.
Hellos. I guess I'll be filling in as the third co-host while our main host is away from keyboard.
You just got to do what you got to do. You know, you don't even have to jump in. I'll take over. So,
are you sure that's a good idea though? Because you already host one show, and it's like
2 shows today. This is my 3rd show that I'm going to host, and then
that's what I'm saying. Like you know, don't hurt your back trying to carry the rest of the shows. Is what I'm saying.
I've hurt my back trying to carry you guys for the last fucking 3 years. Heyo. Silence and crickets.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Let me put my laughing emoji here. Is this going to come off screen?
Yeah. I have a hand raise thing on my screen. Does that show? I don't know how the fuck Skype works, by the way.
Okay, we don't need to know. I don't know why Eagle uses this ancient thing.
Because it's easy for me to grab your camera angles, and I'm a lazy fuck, and I do the easiest thing I could possibly do.
We love you no matter what.
Eagle, you do what you got to do. Pease, we already started the show. Welcome to the show.
Awesome. How's it going, guys?
We roasted you for a couple minutes, and then I was just about to get to the housekeeping, so it's all yours.
All right. Well, thanks for leaving me the super boring part of the show, Terry. Hey, Duke. Nice to see you, man.
What's up, man?
So just so you guys know, in case you haven't been to our site yet, Matt McKenzie has his AEW Dynamite preview. Dave Bruno, he talked about the Glazer family and whether or not they can win a double championship, having won already with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now, can they repeat, sort of, in a different sport with Manchester United? Terry, you had a Super Bowl article out, I read. It was pretty awesome because, again, this is definitely a Super Bowl to remember, right? We did witness history, so definitely a fun one to watch. And I actually wrote an article regarding the situation surrounding Rajon Tremblay. So lots of great stuff out this week.
Where can they
Terry,
find that,
what's going
Pease?
on with Weekly Sauce?
Where can they find that, Pease? All that information.
Oh, all that information is at www.hotsaucesports.ca. All the sports, all the hot, all the time.
On Weekly Sauce this week, we had we just finished recording. Actually, we had Ben Cahoon, legend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's
Ben
awesome.
Ben Cahoon's a great guy. We love to have him on, and he gave us a couple good stories. So it's gonna come out Saturday morning. I'm pumped
Yeah,
for
it's
that one.
exciting. As always, coming out this weekend. So if you like the things we do, we have a lot of different shows. We got some hockey, fantasy hockey. Weekly Sauce covers a variety of topics. We go off the rails on a weekly basis as well. So if you sort of like the comedy aspect, there's our show. We want to offer a variety of things to a variety of people. So to get all those updates, remember to like, subscribe, listen, give us money. We all just want money.
We all just want the money. Sand money.
Boys, I had an interesting night last night. I was up late, couldn't sleep. That's my new reality. Not awesome. But while I couldn't sleep, I decided to throw on an episode of The Office, as one does. And it was the episode that was the dinner.
Oh, that's the best episode.
Oh, that's the
with
best
the
episode.
gabagool?
Yeah,
Absolutely the best.
Gabagool?
Absolutely the best.
No,
not
it's
the
the
gabagool. It's the
one-
one where they invite everyone over for dinner, and then
the dinner party.
Jan's
Dinner
listening
party.
to Hunter's soundtrack and the whole thing, and then the TV gets
plasma
dented.
TV?
He has a the small plasma TV.
Yeah, it took him like 4 hours to
incredible.
install. The broken patio door.
Yeah.
The
Awkward
the
fight.
low key best thing I always laugh at in that episode, and it's weird because it's not one of the funniest things, but next to that small TV, he has this really, really long, awkward coffee table, which is basically like a little plaque on like these 4 long pieces of wood, and he's like, I think this is oak.
Yeah, it looks like something I would have built. it feels like a turning point for that show, right? Like that's kind of where like The Office kind of hit next level, got a whole bunch of recognition. It got me thinking about sort of the awkward dinner dates or awkward, like nights out or whatever. And I want to know if you guys had any stories. I'll start one off. And then, I'll give you guys some time to think about yours. I was still living at home with my parents, and I was dating someone who lived down the street. And so I show up at her, they're doing a big thing for, I want to say, I don't know, Easter or some shit. They're doing this big thing for Easter. And they had made this like big plate of like pasta with Alfredo sauce. I am highly lactose intolerant, but I just
that shit city right there. That's diarrhea town. That's diarrhea town.
I'm like, I don't want to say anything because I just started dating this girl. I don't want to be difficult or anything. So I basically sit down and I slam down as much of this pasta Alfredo as I can as quickly as possible. Then I sort of wiped my mouth off and said, hey, I got this really nice bottle of wine, but I forgot it at home. I got to go get it. And everyone's like, no, we got plenty of wine. I'm like, oh, no, I promise this one's the best. Yeah. I race home, kick the door open. My mom comes freaking out because she thought someone broke into the house. I run into the washroom, shit my brains out. Come out of the washroom and was like, so liquor store's closed. Pops, I need a really expensive bottle of wine because I said I was going to go pick it up at the house and I don't have one. So can I get that off your hands? And for someone, I don't ever get embarrassed, but sort of like that feeling of doing something I knew I wasn't supposed to, like disappearing so I could shit. That was ultimately embarrassing. And it's a story that like I don't think she ever knew. Most people in my life have never heard this story, but I was ultimately embarrassed by the idea that I had to slam this pasta down to go take a shit.
Yeah, Alfredo sauce is insane, man. I mean, I don't know whoever fucking eats that and gets away with it. Like that Alfredo sauce, you don't order Alfredo sauce when you go to a restaurant. And when you're at someone's house, you have to take Imodium before you fucking eat Alfredo sauce.
Why wouldn't you order Alfredo sauce before a restaurant?
And if you go to someone's house, and they didn't tell you that there's Alfredo sauce, that's a fucking crime.
Well, why wouldn't you?
That was my thing.
At a restaurant is my question.
Because it's gonna just you don't want to be doing it in a restaurant bathroom, man.
I don't care. I shit anywhere.
Yeah, we know.
If I was peas in that scenario, I would have shat at the house. Like I don't give a fuck.
Just in the middle of the dinner table.
No, I would have went to the bathroom and be like, I've got to take a shit. And I was just like, it's what the bathroom is there for.
Yeah, but it's that kind of shit where everyone like it reverberates through the house.
Everyone knows.
Right? Like
everyone knows.
You're pushing out water and air. So all you hear throughout the house is the echoes of your now hollowed out intestine.
I love it. Nah, you see, it's because you're doing it wrong. What you got to do is when you go on the bowl, you got to spread your ass cheeks as you sit down. So that way,
you guys have that stool you put your feet up so you can shit better.
Yeah, the squatty potty. I don't have one, but my brother has one, and it's fucking good, man. It works. Yeah, it works. You got to use it.
I gotta look it up. You guys got Duke? Do you have one?
Not really. Not that I had any awkward dinner party, but like it's mostly like once I made I had all my in-laws and all the kids over and everything, and I made this insanely. This is when I was first learning how to cook, and I didn't understand how spicy things were, and I just made this dish super insanely spicy, and all I can remember is just people like tearing up while eating, like. It's just, but nothing ever really embarrassing. I once made a lasagna and fucked it up and had to redo it, like literally the day of. That was more of an expensive dinner more than anything else,
I don't have any embarrassing dinner party stories or like double date stories. I can't think of anything. I've been at a party, like a dinner party, where a couple broke up there.
Oh, that's awkward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to know about that. You gotta tell us
give
more
us that
about
story.
Well, I don't know why they broke up. They just got into like this massive argument, and then it was a friend of mine. We were at his cousin's house party, and it was like a dinner party style. We were adults, so it wasn't like beer and chugging and stuff. And then all of a sudden, they just get into this fight, and she's like, we don't know who this girl is. Like, we never really met her that much. And she just, out of nowhere, she just, let's just fuck this shit, I'm out. And she just runs away. And then he told us, he leaves the house, he chased her, and then he comes back, he's like, yeah, we're done. And that was pretty much it. It was the first time we all met her. I don't know what it is. I don't know. We never even I never got the full story.
Do you remember what course you were on? Were you like in the entree, or you had like the?
It wasn't like a sit down dinner party. It was like a house party, but like it was catered. So it wasn't really like. I guess it was just a house party. It was a fancy house party.
But like, were there other people there, or was it just you and your date just sort of standing in the corner with like red Dixie cups?
No, I was alone, but there was like 12 people there.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the worst story that I've had is my friend invites me over for dinner. Great. Nice guy and someone I know really well, not a big deal. I go over and he's like, all right, let's get in the car. I'm like, why, where are we going? Oh, we got to go to the grocery store. We got to figure out what we're having for dinner. Oh, so I'm cooking is what you're saying. You're not inviting me over for dinner. You're inviting me over to cook for you.
Oh, that actually reminds me.
That's so fucked up.
That actually reminds me. That actually reminds me. What happened was we were going to a party, and the person tells us, like, on the way there, it was my friend Alex's ex-girlfriend at the time, and on the way there, she tells us, yeah, you guys have to bring your own meat. So we had to go buy our own steak, and then the person there cooks it for you.
What?
We used to have, actually, Duke, I don't know if you remember this.
It was a
back in the day, we used to have parties, like when we didn't have money, we used to have parties called You Kill It, I Grill It. So we'd have like big house parties for like 50 people. And it's like, bring whatever you want, I'll throw it on the grill, but I can't afford to feed 50 people.
I fucking miss parties, man.
The thing is, you can afford to feed 50 people. If you're going to a house party that has 50 people or a barbecue, don't assume that you're going to get prime rib. You're going to get hot dogs, chips, and
I was going to say, buy a gigantic pack of sausages and some buns. You're done.
Yeah, fuck that shit. Costco.
I don't know. If I was inviting Eagle to a party, I would expect him to be Mr. Moneybags. Come on.
Yeah,
actually, I got an embarrassing Eagle one. I got an embarrassing Eagle story.
No, this isn't embarrassing. You set me up for this one. This is not my fault.
I told Eagle, like, hey, dude, you want to come over, have a couple of beers? He's like, yeah, sure, man. And so he shows up, and it was like a party at my old condo with like 20 people. And Eagle shows up, obviously not expecting that many people, with like a 6-pack of beers. Like, I don't know if the beers were smaller size than normal, but they looked so small just because of the inconsequential nature of carrying 6 beers into a giant house party.
I can actually clarify this. It was a 6-pack of Grolsch because you liked those bottles specifically because you wouldn't actually like the beer. You would empty them and then use them for De La Rocca beers. So I was like, I'm going to be smart and bring you 6 more bottles. And I walk in the door to 20 people staring at me as I'm holding this little tiny cart in my hand. And my first thought was, I'll be right back.
I will say that in our situation, totally understandable. Obviously, when you come to a DR party, you got to have more than 6. But there's some parties, man, where if you don't really know what the people are like, a 6-pack is the way to go because not everyone's a fucking mooch.
Good point.
Yeah.
And you get a 6-pack of like an obscure beer that people might know, might not know.
Yeah.
What do you guys stand on this? So Duke had a thing with another group of friends where when we would go to their parties, everyone only drank what they brought. So like I've always been a type where you come to my party, you bring in beers, you bring in wine, you bring in hard liquor, whatever you bring.
It's a community effort.
Shared.
It's a community effort.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I always found that super weird in like in a party setting.
I'm the type of guy where when you have a party, it's like, where do I put the beer? In that cooler. Everybody's in that cooler. So if I brought Stella's and I see a Rolling Rock there, I might want to grab the Rolling Rock. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. I mean, I wouldn't buy Rolling Rock. I'm not a terrorist, but like, I would probably pick something else up.
These people that Peace was talking about. I mean, it's a long time ago. This is college days, and like I remember once taking another guy's beer, and they're like, "What are you doing? This is my beer." And I think that's when I realized I'm like, I gotta have new friends, man.
That's my beer. Why did you put it in the communal jug then?
That's right. That's exactly it.
Why don't you take this beer and shove it up your asshole, you prick? Are you guys still friends with that guy or no?
We don't know whose asshole went into, but we got a jam-packed show today. We got a lot of stuff. We're done with the Super Bowl, right? Like we're dealing with sort of that Super Bowl hangover. Our bodies are just sort of giving out because, man, like there's so much to do during the football season, so much betting, so much fantasy, and now all we got left is the news. Terry is the news.
What about Dave?
No. He's just here. He doesn't get newsed.
I love how Duke's back, though.
I don't like news, but yeah, I'm glad to be back too, man. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah?
Yeah, I won't lie.
Want to bang or what?
No, I wouldn't bang you.
You wouldn't fuck me.
You have probably a dirty butthole, probably. Fuck.
You wouldn't fuck me.
I just said you have a dirty butthole. Why would I fuck you?
Okay, but what if your asshole's clean? Because I'm not taking it.
No, it's definitely not. And that's also the problem.
But I don't care.
2 dirty buttholes.
I got this thrown in my face because, obvious reasons.
Such is life.
Such is life.
Guys, life can't be crazier than it is for Rob Gronkowski coming back with Tom Brady. And then some news came out that apparently he's not allowed near the Super Bowl trophy, the Vince Lombardi trophy. This came out. I thought this was pretty funny. Eagle played when he
touched the Lombardi trophy yet. But it would be pretty cool just to even see it. I just saw it from about 30 yards away yesterday, but I have not touched it yet, and hopefully I get to soon. I haven't.
And he did today. He actually had to save it from falling into the Tampa Bay Marina because Brady threw it at him from one boat to another at their Super Bowl celebration party.
Then that thing would sink, man. If it
no, it wouldn't sink. What's it made out of? I'm gonna look this up.
It's made out of like silver? Titanium.
Does titanium sink or swim?
It's also
Duke,
like
I need you to calculate
pounds.
the density of the Super Bowl trophy.
It's also like 40 pounds. It's going right down.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's
not hollow.
I will say, like, you gotta trust Brady's accuracy after what we saw at the Super Bowl. You gotta trust his accuracy to simply throw a trophy from one boat to the next, right?
Absolutely. I mean, did you see the one where he kind of like he tossed it to like I don't know who it was. I guess they might have been fans or something. I don't know who it was, but like one boat to another. It wasn't Gronk, but there was one scene where Gronk is like on the side of the boat and he's like hammered and he's holding it up in the air. It's classic. Gronk is he's a treasure, man. He's a national treasure, that guy.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Can't not
honestly,
exist.
I spent my whole life rooting against Tom Brady, but it was kind of hard in this one because we got to witness obviously history and watching Tom Brady win the 7th, but also in the way that he brought.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Is that Scotty Miller? Who's that?
It's just insane.
I love how it's Brady. You see all the videos of him get hammered too?
Yeah.
We posted some on Hot Sauce, but like he's fucking hammered, and I love it because you never see Brady like kind of let loose. You always see him. He's always doing the right thing, saying the right thing, and now he's just good old boy, and I think he's just there. It might be his last hurrah, I'd say.
All right, so listen, I'm pretty bad at math. I'm pretty bad at calculation. So number one,
Nice.
What do you guys predict is the total weight of the Vince Lombardi?
45 pounds.
It's 7 pounds.
What?
Now, it's 7 pounds. I'm kind of stupid, but 4.51 grams per milliliter, right? That's the average density of titanium. So do I calculate 7 pounds by 4.51 eeks?
I don't know.
Yeah,
is it hollow though? Is the question, or is it like a
hollow,
pure
but
piece?
I don't know if it's made in titanium or not, Dave. I was fucking.
Eagle, you're misunderstanding. We need Duke to calculate density times weight to give us a new measurement.
Yeah.
It's very important that we need to know this. Duke, please tell us what the density times weight is of the Super Bowl trophy.
Science hour with Duke.
It's made of sterling silver, by the way.
Sterling
so
silver.
far, my calculation is 14,319 milliliters.
Of what
Grams.
though?
Grams.
Milliliters is a measurement.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go with 14 G's, man. That's
14 G's of titanium silver.
Well, the good news is, depending how polluted that water is, silver will float in mercury. So
there might be a lot of mercury in the Tampa Bay Marine, that's for sure.
If the bay is in retrograde, you know that's floating to the top.
Well, I love it, man. I like seeing these guys like this. It's good. It's
different. It's funny because we all know Gronk partied and stuff in New England, but we never really saw like Brady kind of, like let loose. He was always like the CEO in New England, right? This just seemed like a guy having fun for the first time in his life.
He's hammered. Like a hammered, not just regular hammered. And I think Pease froze again, so Pease is gone.
No, but it's true. It's true in a way that it's true in a way that we've never really seen Brady cut loose ever. And the closest we ever saw was him kissing his son on the lips. I think that's the closest we ever got to it.
That's not him cutting loose. That's him having a moment with his son. Like everybody hates on him for that. I'm not a hater of like just his son giving him a peck on the lips.
That's the last time I ever saw him do anything that wasn't football related, that wasn't branding related, that was something natural, something organic.
And even while hammered, he's still like the most corporate guy ever.
Guys, I have a question for you though. You go out for a party, right? Tom Brady goes out. He brings his supermodel wife Gisele Bündchen with him. They both have a drink. When they go home at night, who's like the aggressive one in that relationship? The one that's like, "Oh, I'm drunk and let's just bang," and the other one's like, can't perform essentially. Like, which one's
guaranteed? Gisele is the aggressor, guaranteed.
Yeah, she ties him down.
Yeah, 100%.
I think she gets mad at him. I think she's like, "I can't believe you ate strawberries today. You will sleep in the 43rd bedroom." It's like, no, but
wait till I tell Dr. Guerrero.
I guarantee Gisele like ties him down, calls him a little bitch, slaps him around a bit, and that's what gets him going.
Fuck. Yeah. And also, it's Bündchen, not Butchin.
Keep it up.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Pease, your mic's pretty low, Pease.
It's fun to see them having a good time. The coaching staff had a great time too. There's this clip that I saw. There was after the game. Reporter asked the question to who he thought was Todd Bowles. Here's Byron Leftwich's answer.
Wait, I don't have it yet. It's coming.
Nice. Production value right there.
Extra slow so that Eagle could bring up the clip. Yet
it takes me a little bit of time.
Production was never our strong suit at Hot Sauce Sports.
Never. Ever.
Graphics number one.
We need better producers.
What's up, bud?
Blogs number two.
To shut Mahomes down, shut that high-powered offensive down. What was your guys' number one goal going into that game?
Shut Pat Mahomes down. I think you got the wrong guy.
That's so fucking embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. It's unbelievable.
Eagle, we can't hear it though, but I know the fans can hear it, but we can't hear it.
Let me see what I can.
I know what it is though, but because I can.
You know what it is. You know what it is. Go with it.
I'm just saying, going forward, I would like to hear some of these clips.
Yeah, don't worry.
Makes it easier for us to react.
Yeah.
Wow, that was an amazing clip we just heard.
Fuck, holy shit.
To shut Mahomes down, shut that high-powered offensive down. What was your guys' number one goal going into that game?
To shut Pat Mahomes down. I think you got the wrong guy. I ain't had nothing to do with that. That was Todd.
Oh, man. That laugh from the reporter. Fuck, you know what that laugh is, eh? That's the Christ, I'm gonna be on Twitter.
Fuck. I'm gonna get fired. I'm never gonna be able to do the NFL.
No, not even fired. You know you're gonna be the meme of the day. You know, like that.
He got taken off of Super Bowl duty so fast after that, right there. How do you not know who you're talking to?
That's like meeting a girl's family and eating pasta Alfredo right there.
Also, like Byron Leftwich played in the NFL for a long time. Like a lot of people talk about him as if being like the next best coach coming up. Mm-hmm. Like he's the next guy, right? So you should know what Byron Leftwich looks like.
Here's another thing. The two guys,
Todd Bowles out of a lineup, but I know who Byron Leftwich is.
Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich look nothing alike. They have one characteristic that's similar. It's the fact that they're both black. And like that's the thing was like I don't think the reporter, made that mistake. The guy's probably just tired. There's a lot of stuff going on. He probably was told, "Hey, go ask that question, Todd Bowles." Went in the wrong line, and then it is what it is. And it's just that it's still horribly embarrassing. I love hearing the reporters laugh compared to Byron Leftwich's laugh. Byron Leftwich's laugh is like the confident, like, "Oh man, you suck at your job. I just won the Super Bowl." And the reporter's laugh is like, "Wow, this is the worst day of my life."
I'm never going to be able to cover whoever Byron Leftwich coaches after this.
My memory of Byron Leftwich, I don't know about you guys, but it's him in college breaking both legs and being carried down the field by two offensive linemen to go complete another pass. I don't know if that rings a bell.
I don't think it was in college. Very big in the NFL, no?
I'm going to say college. I'll look it up, but I'm going to say
I feel
college.
like it was in the NFL. But you know what? If I was that reporter, I would have doubled down. I would have been like, "Are you sure you're not Todd Bowles?
Like what? You don't know what your team does on defense?
Like what a fucking
You want to be a
defense.
head coach?
And then you write like a mean blog. I can't believe the coach didn't know what they did. You know? Like,
Yeah. Breaking
That's what
news. Byron Leftwich hates Todd Bowles.
Yeah, exactly. Breaking news. Byron Leftwich had no idea what the game plan was to knock down Pat Mahomes. Is there communication issues in Bruce Arians' locker room? That's what I would have written.
Yeah, no, definitely. It happened in college. It happened at Marshall.
Marshall. Okay, yeah, it's true. You're right. I was going to say
regular.
Marshall. I didn't know that he went there. But I don't know why.
I had no idea he went to Marshall, man. That's nuts.
You know who else went to Marshall?
Did you enjoy the game, Terry?
Listen, it's football, so I enjoyed watching it, but it was just tough to watch. Tough to watch how Pat Mahomes was literally by himself.
Yeah.
Like it was really hard to watch.
Two of the best throws I've ever seen in NFL football history were made in that game by Pat Mahomes. They were both incompletions.
Yeah, off the face.
Off the face of the receiver. Like, had it just stuck in the helmet, it would have been perfect. You know what I mean?
It was hard. It was hard to watch. Like I respect Pat Mahomes a lot. I think.
What? How is that hard to watch? That's the best thing in the world.
It was hard to see a guy get annihilated.
That's the best part about it. You get to watch the snarkiest team in the NFL. You get to watch one of the worst teams in the NFL, the ugliest jersey in the NFL, the worst franchise ever just get completely destroyed. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful thing.
Have the ugliest jerseys in the NFL.
Oh God, you kidding me?
Have you seen
ketchup and mustard?
Have you seen the Jaguars? Have you seen the Colts? Basically, the entire AFC South, that entire division, worst jerseys of all time. All four of them.
Terry,
they all look like Madden generated jerseys.
There's one statistic for you on this. How many teams in the NFL remind you of fucking hot dogs? The Chiefs.
Well, they're sponsored by
Heinz.
Like Heinz. Fair counterpoint, Terry. Oh no, I think you lost this one.
Is Heinz Field Pittsburgh?
Good point.
That's Pittsburgh. That's Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's like that hot dog that's on the grill too long.
And why is it a bad thing?
The Steelers would be the number one team.
Also, why is it a bad thing to think about hot dogs when I'm watching football? I don't know.
That's true.
I think the problem is you, Duke. That's what I'm thinking right now.
I think
you should get back to canceling some fucking canceling. You should get back to doing some graphics.
I like that Duke just said that the Chiefs are the worst organization in football. Yet Pat Mahomes, as starting quarterback, just lost after 3 seasons his 10th game.
Yeah,
he's only lost 10 games in the NFL, and he's been to the Super Bowl twice.
You want to hear a fun stat on that, though? Of those 10 games, 3 of them he's lost to Tom Brady.
That's a shame.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah.
It's a real shame. It's a crying shame.
Well, I think one of the things we
2 of them were this year.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
One of the things we forgot about the game of football is how important the offensive line is, and we saw how dominant that Tampa Bay front four is. We also forgot that Vita Vea was on the Bucks and is like the 4th guy on that defensive line, which is absolutely insane. It was honestly, I was expecting to come into this game and all of the money I put on all the things, you would assume I was cheering Chiefs. But when it became clear that I was not making any money in the Super Bowl, I was actually kind of happy for Brady. I was kind of happy to be witnessing this, to be seeing a guy compete at his level at his age. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a fun story, fun night.
Yeah, and you said it before. I wrote it in my blog, and I think that we all need to remember the Super Bowl because it's like we're gonna be 30 years from now, and there's gonna be a guy named Joe Johnson, okay, and your son is gonna tell you, hey, Dad, Joe Johnson's the best quarterback of all time. He won 3 Super Bowls in a row. Well, let me tell you something. There was a guy named Tom Brady that had the smallest dick energy you've ever seen in your life, but somehow he won 7 Super Bowls. Oh yeah, but back then it wasn't as hard. Go fuck yourself. Okay, that's what I'm gonna tell my son. Listen, son, go fuck yourself. You have no idea what football is. And that son, his name is probably gonna be Noah. He ain't go fuck himself.
It's funny you brought up Joe Johnson. I'm looking up online. It's that dude that played for the Suns, the Hawks. I don't know if you remember.
I was gonna say, like, no kid, you're dumb. Joe Johnson used to play basketball for the Hawks.
It's the most like basic name I can think of.
It's amazing.
You're like Joe Johnson, the guy who was deadly from exactly 18 feet, but then couldn't take a step back and hit a 3-pointer. That Joe Johnson?
That guy. He's the best quarterback of all time, apparently, according to my shit son.
Last thing before we move on from this, I just want to mention Brady went through Mahomes, arguably one of the better quarterbacks this year. Rodgers, the MVP winner. Breeze, in his last year, essentially, he retired because of this. So basically, like the best quarterbacks in the league. You know who gave him the most trouble? Taylor Heineke from the Washington football team. Their defense was the hardest defense the Bucs played this entire year, and the one that Brady struggled against the most. Can you imagine?
Well, Washington was ranked second this year on defense, right?
Yeah, they did.
Heineke
they had one of the best
an
defenses.
extension from that game, so good on him. Boys, the Dallas Mavericks, under the ownership of Mark Cuban, decided that they were no longer going to play the national anthem before games. It was then announced today by Adam Silver in the NBA that the national anthem was going to be played at all games. And Mark Cuban had an interesting response. He said, "Listen, it's important to us that even if we can't continue to do it, even if the league has decided we got to be uniform in our stance, we just wanted people to know that there are people out there who are suffering, there are people in pain, and we want them to know that we acknowledge them." And I thought that was just a really nice sentiment. I thought it was like, this is all anyone's ever asking for, is just listen. And I thought it was pretty cool. What are your thoughts, Terry?
I think that there's two spectrums here, right? So there's going to be the people that say, oh, they're scared of public backlash because they don't want the people that are going to kneel to get ripped on, or it's going to be the other way, and they're going to say, or they don't want the people that still stand to the national anthem, or that don't support whatever movement they're talking about. And I think that what Mark Cuban did, and Mark Cuban's like one of the most progressive guys in the world, and I think that what Mark Cuban did is he took all that shit away. He's like, there's no fans. Like, why the fuck do we have to do the national anthem? It's stupid anyway. I have always thought it was dumb as shit. Why do you have to sing a national anthem? Why do I have to say, "Oh, Canada" at a Montreal Canadiens game? I mean,
it's weird. It's
Montreal Canadiens. It's weird that I'm asking that question, but still, why do I have to sing "Oh, Canada"? It doesn't.
Well, when you go to the movie theater, when you turn on Netflix, there isn't a Pledge of Allegiance, right? There isn't a national anthem. It's a weird thing to do ahead of a sporting event. Duke, when I saw this, the first thing I thought of was like, well, it's two sides. Like, one side is like, what? How dare you not play the national anthem? But then also when Colin Kaepernick knelt, like, that was also not the right way. So there still isn't a right way. You just have to not take it away from people, apparently.
Yeah, and I think that when I did hear about this, like with most cases that of these kind of situations that happen, I always try to look at it twofold. And the one thing that I worry about more than anything else is like when you make a blanket decision like this, you're basically deciding for all of your players what they will and will not do. And I do understand the points that you guys are making at the same time, but what if you're a player that actually wants to hear the national anthem at the beginning of every game? What if that's something that inspires you at the beginning of every game? I'm
sure it was a team decision, though, Duke.
Yeah, but Duke, think of it this way, right? If you're in the locker room and you're changing and you have your Bose headset on or whatever sponsor has paid you to listen to their product on their head, you're not listening to the national anthem. You're listening to some rock, some pop music, some rap, R&B, some metal. You're not listening to the national anthem.
Just like what I said, which was maybe a generalization for what the players may want. I believe that statement is also generalization where we just expect players to be robots and not necessarily want to care about, not robots, but they might not necessarily be paying attention to the national anthem. But there's a lot of players that really do love to hear it every game. It inspires them. But I also want to bring up one other thing before I finish. The Dallas Stars also, just before our podcast, came out with their own statement saying that we're going to be playing the national anthem at the beginning of every game. I don't know if you guys
we're going to play it twice.
What? No one asked you for that opinion. You're saying that to a crowd that's maybe 99% white. It's the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen. I do understand. I do understand I do understand what Mark Cuban's doing. I do understand the reasons for it, but at the same time, I I feel like that it's a very important kind of tradition that might not be necessarily important to us as a bunch of Canadian guys, but I could just imagine there's a lot of people that would want to hear it at the beginning of every game.
So, when did the season start? How many games in are we? We're like 13 games in ish.
About that, let's say. I mean, some teams haven't played like anything because of
we're talking about it now.
Protocols, but yeah,
we're talking about it now, and they've been doing it all season. That's how little of importance this thing has. If it was so important, we would have been talking about it forever.
Yeah, the only reason it was brought up was because it was the first game that they allowed people into the stadium. Exactly. They allowed 1,500 healthcare workers, and it was the first. Because, like, again, I can imagine the ridiculousness of standing to attention for the national anthem that nobody else is there to listen to. Like, it kind of takes away from that moment, right? So, I guess that's kind of where that came from, guys. The report on Kobe Bryant's death has now come out. Kobe Bryant and, of course, all the 6 other victims in the helicopter crash. They're actually labeling it specifically as a crash, not an accident. They're saying the NTSB, who I guess is the body that investigates such things, is saying that the helicopter pilot did not follow proper training and flew dangerously into poorly visible areas. This instantly reminded me, when I was reading the details on this, of the John F. Kennedy Jr. death, where he flew a small plane inadvisably in foggy and cloudy conditions, where experienced commercial airline pilots were saying that they wouldn't have flown their commercial flights through that weather. It kind of seems the same way. One of the reports I read was that the pilot could no longer tell down from up. That's how thick the fog and clouds were.
Yeah, it's definitely a combination of things, because I remember when it originally happened that number one, the area where he was flying in was very dangerous in general, and it was just generally not advised. And I remember hearing a lot of reports at that time with a lot of people that fly helicopters and pilots that were saying that, like, the visibility was really bad for that type of day, and there were a lot of advisories about like that it being a very risky type of environment, or very risky type of climate to be flying in, So
I'm going to drop some science on you guys on this. Yeah. So first off, the NTSB is the National Transportation Safety Board. They're the government agency that regulates all this stuff. And to exactly what you're saying, most helicopters fly in what's called VFR rules, which is visual flight rules. So normally when you're flying a helicopter, you see where you're going. The moment you start getting into cloudy areas, you have to rely entirely on instrumentation. So altitude, the directions, all that type of stuff. And because of the mountainous ranges in California and the fact that the pilot was flying very low to try and save time in terms of the flight pattern, essentially, he was really, really, really pushing the boundaries. And most people, like I said, don't fly using only instrumentation. He got lost, and that's how he spiraled out of control. He should have stopped. He should have gone to I don't know, any place that he could have essentially landed, some type of helipad, and be like, sorry, man, you're going to have to drive the rest of the way. I can't do this, right? It's too dangerous. And he just didn't. I don't know if maybe someone said, hey, man, I'll pay you more if you get me there on time. If he thought he could do it, it's something
I don't
you
want to
normally
speculate
wouldn't
anything.
do. Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to speculate
anything. That's a lot of
anything.
speculation.
Listen,
there's a mistake that was made and a bunch of people died. That's really what it came down to.
That's exactly it, Eagle.
I love Eagle's snark, by the way. It was like, I'm gonna drop some science. By that he mean he Googled shit because he's our producer and that's his job. Yeah. Thank you, Eagle, for doing your job.
Yeah.
VFR,
how many of you knew what that was before I said it?
We don't
I
have
knew what the NTSB was.
Said,
I interned at the NTSB one time.
USB.
They trusted you with people's safety?
No, I was just there. I just answered the phone.
You just had some hot dogs in the background. Thinking of the Chiefs,
Yeah.
The huge.
Terrible jersey.
I was confusing Byron Leftwich with Todd Bowles.
There was that death obviously happened last year, boys, but that's back before. I don't know if you remember this. That was like the first terrible thing that happened in 2020, and then the world broke open, as it turns out. But the world experienced some loss. The sports world specifically experienced some loss. Pedro Gomez's death broke during the Super Bowl. Growing up as a baseball fan, Pedro Gomez was a sort of like a voice of my childhood, and it was just kind of cool. Like I remember, like for me, like I'm a white guy, right? But it kind of felt cool to see Pedro Gomez and see like, oh, this is a guy who doesn't look like everybody else. Like I remember even as a kid being like, hey, it's kind of cool. Like this guy is not just an old white guy with white hair, And when he passed, he was like an aging brown guy with white hair. But he was one of the first ones in that space, and he was kind of a pioneer for a lot of reporters and minority reporters that came after him. And he'll probably never get the recognition that he deserves. One things I will say is, having read about him over the past couple of days, I know that people sort of aggrandize people that just passed away, but you can't find anyone who has anything negative to say about Pedro Gomez.
I mean, he was also 58 years old, which makes it extremely sad, Yeah. I mean, when you see it, when you would see him and stuff, you wouldn't expect him to be that young in a way,
Yeah, he looks like
it's just super sad, and I haven't seen any cause of death. I have no idea what happened. Obviously, that's not important in this situation, but it's really shocking, And definitely an elite journalist.
Well, he had votes for the Hall of Fame. Like he's one of the like the most respected journalists in baseball, and I think that, and when he says something, a lot of people listen. He was good, man. He's one of the few like journalists where like if I see him, baseball journalists, where I see him, I'm like, that's Pedro Gomez. Like I knew who he was. Well,
but like that's part of the thing though, Terry. Is like he doesn't look like the rest of the guys, right? Like that's and that was especially at the time that he started. This is a guy, he's called 25 World Series, right? Like considering the time that he started in his career, that's absolutely impressive. So it was cool to see how much he was honored. The opposite, of course, is true of the Washington Post's bizarre obituary about Marty Schottenheimer, essentially saying coach of teams that wilted in the NFL. In the playoffs. Marty Schottenheimer passed away at 77. Terry, you sent us this article. So what were your thoughts upon seeing this?
I think that it's the climate that we live in. You know what I mean? Where it's just clickbait. Everybody's clickbait. I know because I fucking do it. Like my titles and all my blogs are, you need to open this. But you don't have to write something stupid on somebody's obituary for them to open it.
Yeah.
Like, what does his losing record have to do with the fact that he died? What is the fact that he sucked in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because when I saw that, it reminded me so much about all the things I hate about the media nowadays. I'm glad to say that a lot of times when we write our articles and whatnot, when we release content, like we're not always looking for the clickbait. Like a lot of what we built in this network and a lot of what we built at Hot Sauce Sports is not so much about trying to get clicks. Just for, you post a shitty title. Like, I think one thing that I love about what we do is that we all take ownership of what we make, and we're all prideful of what we do. But when I saw that, it saddened me because it's like, what was the point of that? I mean, it's like you said, Terry, there's so many other ways you could have, that they could have posted this article. But unfortunately, this is the state of journalism nowadays. It's just like, how do we get the most amount of clicks? And if you're willing to sell your soul.
Where I would disagree is I actually don't think that of the Washington Post. I'm actually I subscribe to 3 American newspapers. I subscribe to the Miami Herald, the Washington Post, and the New York Times. I believe that news is important, and there are 3 newspapers I respect a ton of. I was remarkably disappointed to see that.
Super disappointing.
But the thing is, like, the people writing the obituaries aren't journalists. They are people who write obituaries. They're people who write features. They're not actual reporters and journalists. Those are saved to do, important work, to dig up important work. And the problem with this is exactly, Duke, is what you're getting from it. All the people who distrust the mainstream media, right?
Like me.
This doesn't do anything to help that. All this does is push that narrative, which, largely when it comes to these big publications that are still important, that are still necessary as a form of checks and balances, that goes out the window when you post something like this, and this represents your entire newspaper. If we would have posted something like that, I would have lost my shit. If I don't want to say who, but if Alex the intern would have posted that, I would have lost my shit.
I do have somewhat of a hot take here. As an obituary, clearly not the correct way to write it, right? It's supposed to be like an in memoriam of their life, kind of explain what they did and that type of stuff. But had there been an op-ed piece saying something along the lines of, he died and he's left behind a legacy that's awful, as an op-ed and not as an obituary, I think we would have been treating this a little bit differently.
Well, like
they do different things, right?
Who's that actor that died recently?
Christopher Plummer.
Right. So it's as if someone said Christopher Plummer, dude that died. He came out with movies that nobody knows anymore. You know, like it would have been to that extent, like to write something so defamatory. So that's not even a word. Defamatory. Inflammatory.
He died.
Yeah.
Mega inflammatory.
Yeah, but it's just like it's like Christopher Plummer died and nobody fucking cares about his movies anymore. Like that's
Christopher Plummer, man who never plumbed, dies. Maybe call yourself Christopher Actor. Like it's that level. Boys, we got no interview this week. It was a Super Bowl week, so we said, you know what? Let's focus in on some of the stories. We had a ton of stories this week. We're gonna go to rapid fire when we come back. Until then, do remember to like, subscribe, watch everything we do. If not, we will put something in your shower.
And we're back.
Wow, that was an excellent interview that we didn't have this week. But again, we have tons of content. Remember to check us out at www.hotsaucesports.ca. For now, though, Eagle, it is time for rapid fire. Let's do it.
All right, we got Club Vid. Nick Kyrgios. Did I pronounce that right, Terry? You're the Greek here.
Kyrgios.
Calls out Novak Djokovic at the Australian Open, in this clip from his press conference.
Jesus Christ.
Cat, Novak is. Heck of a tennis player, but unfortunately, someone that's partying with his shirt off during a global pandemic, I don't know if I can take any slack from that, man. Like, that's as bad as it gets for me.
Okay, Bill, last question. Thank you.
I love this guy.
That was good.
Is he done?
Bang.
He's done talking to this fucking guy?
Please, Bill.
Nailed it, bro.
Bill, you're on mute.
Come on, Billy.
Can you hear?
You're very straight.
I love how he then talks up his own answer at the end. That's so amazing.
Yeah, he was his own hype man. It was the best part of the video for me. I saw that. I like Nick Kyrgios because he's got some personality. He's kind of a jerk, but that kind of works for me.
No, but it's an ongoing thing. It's like he has one note. Yeah, that's
asshole.
It. That's the only thing that we know about him. There's a reason why he's ranked 47th in the world. He is a loser. He's a loser. That's all he is. Just personality.
Is the issue that he's partying about him like that? Is the issue that he's partying shirtless? Like, is he shirtless but like wearing a mask? Is it like worse when he's got a shirt on but no mask?
Or when is Nick Kyrgios the voice of reason? You know?
Yeah, seriously.
That's it. No, I mean, yeah, exactly. I should expect anything more than someone who's ranked lower than Humbert and Sonego. Like, I don't even know who these guys are.
Well, first of all, Humbert and Sonego are fucking sick tennis players.
They're two different guys.
Yeah,
next,
tennis players.
You're fired. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has resigned from the Screen Actors Guild and the AFTRA. I don't know what that stands for. I can Google it. After being banned from the unions for life. So essentially, you can't fire me. I quit. He asserts that the union has, quote, done little for their membership and, quote, promoted dangerous and un-American policies and ideas.
So he did the ultimate, like in the movies that we see, you can't fire me because I quit. One of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's classic. Classic Trump.
I believe Eagle AFTRA is Actors for Testicles, Rectums, and Anuses. So
I don't think that's true. It's the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, but close enough.
So when he gets impeached after the trials are over, he's gonna be like, yeah, whatever. I wasn't gonna run again anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I wasn't president anyway, so
yeah.
But like, so really I see this, and the first thing that came to my mind was, yes, obviously, you know, Hollywood's promoting all these un-American ideas, you know, like perhaps, you know, storming the Capitol. Oh no, wait, that was somebody else. No, like it's the ultimate. You didn't get invited to the party, man. Like it doesn't mean that you're turning it down. Nobody wanted you there. And my favorite thing though is he's talking about his careers. He's like, listen, I did all these things. I was in Home Alone 2. I was in, and all the movies he was in were all sequels. I only realized that because of his letter. And then he's like, oh, and also one of the greatest television shows in history, The Apprentice. I'm like, really? Reality show.
Yeah.
That's what you're hanging your head on? Reality.
It's not even the best reality show.
Well, season 1 was pretty sweet. Season 1 was pretty amazing.
I'll take Survivor season 1 over Apprentice season 1 any day of the week. That shit was fucking fire.
I've never seen Survivor, and I've never seen Big Brother.
I wonder if
I'm not a big reality show guy myself.
I wonder if this would stop him from being like casted in other movies and shows. Maybe that's probably what it is. Is it? Are they banning him from readmission because this would limit his exposure to the public?
No, they condemning his inciting of violence at the Capitol.
No, I get that, but I'm saying by them doing that, is it stopping him from acting in another movie?
Yeah, because you have to be registered with him in order to act, essentially, in anything produced.
Part of the SAG.
In any guild movies and shows, basically.
Which is basically everything.
Can we bring him on to Hot Sauce?
Sure.
If you want to.
Followed by Donald Trump.
Speaking of people we can bring on remotely, Fat Cat, a lawyer who was attending remote legal proceedings, found himself in a quite bizarre situation in that he didn't know how to disable a filter.
You have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take a look.
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go
His assistant's probably older than him.
I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that. Ponton, I believe you have a filter.
I'm not a cat.
I'm not a cat is the single greatest comedic dismount of all time. I love a few things about this. I love for those just listening to the show. It's a dude who's a lawyer who's taking part in legal proceedings. He has a filter where he's a cat on the screen. My favorite things is his eyes just look so cute. It looks so adorable. I can't help. I want to hug him. I just want to hug the lawyer.
Unbelievable.
I just love how the legal stuff. He's like, I'm prepared to proceed. I'm not a cat.
Who recorded it though? That's the best part.
You know what the worst part is? It's even tagged saying, you're prohibited from recording this, but someone did it anyway. That's just so fucking funny. All right. Jim Boogers. Jim Boheim is caught snacking on his own boogers. Very delicious over here. I love how he has a mask, but he has taken it off specifically for this purpose.
The middle finger fucking...
Okay, so what is this? Like, what did he get with that? And it looks like he just licks his finger. Why do people do this?
Crumb hanging off.
Why do people do this?
Terry, you know what it is? It's like if you've ever fingered your asshole. If you've never done it before, then you wouldn't know what the pleasure is in doing it.
Listen, I think I could speak for all of us here when I could say we've taken dumps, wiped our ass, maybe scratched your asshole and then smelt it.
Let that slip in. Whoopsie.
And smelt it, but I've never taken a booger out of my nose and put it in my mouth.
Putting it in your mouth is where you draw the line. To be honest, I saw this, Terry, and Jim Boheim, he falls into the category of coaches to me that all kind of look the same. Like there's about 30 coaches in American college football and basketball that are absolutely interchangeable to me. I wouldn't know the difference if you put me in a room with them. He's one of those guys.
Jim Boeheim and the guy from North Carolina.
All right.
Yeah.
Jim Boeheim, Jim Calhoun, and not Steve McNamara. What's the guy from North Carolina?
Are we talking about basketball or football?
Basketball.
Basketball. Steve.
Roy Williams, bro.
Roy Williams. That's it. Roy Williams, Jim Boeheim, and Jim Calhoun. Those are three guys. They all look the same.
Yeah. I just don't understand why people are so disgusted with picking your nose, man. I mean, we all pick our nose, Just the middle finger makes it intense.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten some nice ones. I think like those dry ones on the inside of the wall here. You just
the worst.
Rip it out, but you flush it.
Hey, do you guys feel like as you're getting older, you get more snot stuck to the wall of your nose?
It never stops.
No, for me, it's like only when it's very dry and cold outside.
Now it's all I got. Every morning, it takes like a half hour
to get to dig in there.
Yeah, when I get just jammed on the walls.
Yeah, like those hard ones.
Yeah.
But how good of a feeling it is when it comes out, though.
Oh, it's the greatest. I weep. I weep uncontrollably.
All right, next.
I'm getting dirty looks here. So.
Sunshine in a bag.
I mean, I've never done that.
Duke, this is probably for you. You have a lot of stupid ideas, but have you ever really paid the price for doing one of them? In this case, a woman has put Gorilla Glue in her hair and had to have it cut out in a very vicious way.
Every day trying to soften it up. It kind
of
it's pretty fucked up. It may have softened up a bit.
And
we're gonna
why would you put
this? We have some on here already.
There's no doctor that wants to take care of this because they don't want to have the lawsuit possibility if anything goes wrong.
But why would she put? Have you ever used Gorilla Glue?
Yeah,
it's really strong.
It's so strong, and it's like, you know what it is? She wouldn't even have enough time to put it all in her hair because it dries so quickly.
It's because there's a hairspray brand in the States that has a gorilla on it, and it's very, very similar design-wise. And this is actually something that whenever I teach design and stuff, I often tell my students, I'm like, make sure people know, like, make sure you know if you're going to come up with a brand that looks like an energy drink, it needs to be an energy drink and not like like a cleaning product. Because sometimes people just grab things without looking at what it is.
Apparently, she's like verified on Instagram or Twitter, so people are even more mad about that. Like, how can somebody that's verified make this mistake? Because people are stupid, verified or not.
I will say, guys, I'm getting dangerously close because my hair is getting long and uncontrollable. I've been looking at the glue. I've been looking at it, saying, you know what? Maybe it's time. Maybe I need to bring it all in, keep this together because, man. With barbershops closed, it was a rough time. That's the first thing that came to my mind is maybe she's onto something.
And last topic for today, Billy is going to eat your lunch. At this year's Rough and Rowdy, which is Barstool's boxing pay-per-view event, Part of My Take intern Billy Football dominated Jose Canseco within 5 seconds, who seemingly looked unprepared and then took a dive after earning over $1 million for that particular fight. If you haven't seen it yet, this is what it generally looks like, getting your ass beat.
We don't have a video?
I don't think we do, actually. Let me see.
It's been hard to get the video because Barstool's been taking them down.
Barstool takes it down for real? If anything, for them, it looks better for them to keep it up.
Yeah,
because nobody's going to go buy it after it's done.
Yeah, I paid for it. UFC does the same thing with their fights where they don't
bought it?
Post fights after, yeah.
You're at that point in your life where you're buying Rough and Rowdy. I get it because it's no other sports time.
Oh no, there was actually 2 fights that night. There was bare knuckle boxing and there was that.
Hold on, I think I found it. Actually, I think I found it. I think I found it. Hold on, let's see if we can do this.
It was a dive. Like, I don't care what Jose.
Time to watch the whole fight, though, Eagle.
For him, like, it was a quick $1 million that Jose Canseco made.
Wait, Terry, are you suggesting that someone who led a Bigfoot hunt through the desert of Nevada? He's responsible. Bigfoot and UFOs, by the way, because apparently they all hang out.
Yeah, all together.
He's saying that he's out and trying to scam people. That's what you believe. Jose Canseco is not. You think he's not trustworthy? The man who says he turned down Madonna, and the man who knows about all the steroid usage, even though he's innocent.
If we can't trust Jose Canseco, then who can we trust?
Literally everyone else.
And that's it for this week, boys.
Boys, that was awesome. Duke, it was good to have you back, man. We missed having you on the show. It was a good time.
I'll be back. Don't worry about
it. Thank you for all the work you've done. For those who have liked, who subscribed, thank you for your patronage. Please continue to do so. Also, spread the word. Every person that you convince to like and to subscribe to us will give you $5 worth of benefits in your lifetime. I don't know if that's true or not, but I believe that to be the case. Thank you, Terry, for all the stuff you've done. And most of all, thank you all for letting me be myself.
I take back all the negative things I said about my future son named Noah.
Fine, I said them.
Chief's jersey looks like hot dogs.